think we might be live right about now. This is exciting, Cheri. I'm so happy.
Oh, I know.
I'm so happy. Ready for another episode of Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy.
We are often naked together in the mornings.
That's true.
Via selfie. Andy and I take our ugly selfies in the morning and send them to each other very often. So,
Cheri, have I got the genitals for you?
if you've got an itch, Andy Vargo will scratch it. Whose turn is it to intro this time? Is it yours?
I have lost track, but I think it might be mine. I can go.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I think I'm odd near even.
You are odd. All right. All right, you guys, we are ready to start our regular show. So we're going to pause for a moment for silence. All right, welcome back to another episode of Scrutiny with Cheri Hardman and Andy Vargo. I'm your host, Andy Vargo, and our other host, Cheri Hardman. We are here today to scrutinize the things that are going on in life, love lives, relationships, reality shows that Cheri watches that I have no clue what's going on in these shows. And of course, she always gives me a little bit of a gauge-education. So thank you so much for joining us today, where we put our own little brand of scrutiny on everything.
I just realized I didn't do a gay question for you this week. So
there it is.
So you have a reprieve. You can just be as gay or ungay as you want to be today.
Well, I'm going to act like a bro then.
All right.
Hey. Also, something will probably come up anyway. Usually does. So.
Okay. So this is kind of the outline of the stuff. Remember, we wanted to talk about when you should give someone your phone number.
Yes.
Because that was lingering from last week.
The lingering one.
We're going to do our Real Housewives taglines.
Yes.
We're going to do Marry, Shag, Kill.
Okay.
We're going to introduce another Real Housewives character.
Ooh, yay.
And then if we have some time, I wanted to talk about dream interpretation.
That sounds like a good thing to discuss. Right. Do you have anything coming up, Cheri, you want to tell anybody about before we get into our outline?
I guess from now on, I should have my calendar in front of me when I do this show. Let me think. I'm doing a private show. Yeah. I'm doing a private show this weekend, so I don't need to tell anybody about that.
Other than to remind them that they can book you for private shows.
That's true. That's very true. So. And Nate Jackson's contest, which we can talk about that too a little bit later. So I'm up. June 2nd is my first heat. So June 2nd. Oh, we should probably talk a little bit about our trip to Vegas too, because it's coming up.
Because that is coming up next week. And I have got I'm working a market, one of those pop-up markets out in Bonnie Lake. So locals, head out to Bonnie Lake on Saturday. I'll be there from 10 to 6 at Kelly Farms, which is a really awesome venue for private events and things. But they're doing pop-ups on Saturdays. And so this is the first one that I'm going to. I'm not sure if it's every Saturday or once a month. I can't remember the schedule. But it's this Saturday, which is the 22nd, the day after tomorrow. And so come down, Kelly Farms, say hi. I'll be selling books. I'll be selling t-shirts. I got keychains. I just would love to say hi to people. And there's going to be a lot of great artists and local makers there. So
yeah, you showed me a photo of it. It looks pretty cool. So
yeah, it's a cool looking old style, like weatherboard kind of barn. So anyway.
All right. So I thought of this. This is like an aside. I thought that we should do this Marry, Shag, Kill because it's always fun. And somebody was talking to me about being on my other show, Heavy Petting, and how they felt like maybe they were a little bit stiff. Okay. And I said, well, that's funny because I always feel like I'm really stiff on that show. You know, now that we do it virtually, it's different when you're in person and you can pet the pet and play with it and
And chemistry is so different in person, so it's
Right.
hard to pull that out online, especially with people you don't see all the time.
Right. So I was thinking, well, maybe I need like a little bit of like a warm up, you know, so that to kind of build some chemistry with the person.
Okay.
So I was going through some different things we could do. One of which would be we could just do a Marry Shag Kill real quick. So we're going to test that out by you and I doing a Marry Shag Kill.
Okay.
So we've each picked 3 people for the other person to do marry, shag, or kill. All right. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I don't know. Do I want to look worse or better? Or like, do I want to like do my normal thing and then have you show me up with your fancy pants stuff, or do I want to just let you do it and then let everybody down with my scratch on paper? Okay, you can go first.
Okay. So I put mine on a thing, and I didn't ask Andy to do his that way because I didn't want to give him any more homework than I already had. So
that's so considerate of you.
Yeah. And then, you know, this way I can look like I did better than he did. So I always like that too.
Right.
I don't have it ready, so hang on. I'm dumb. It's hard like all day long, you know, when you're working with 10 windows.
Yeah.
And then you got to close all those out, and then you got to go
find all the right ones.
Go do another one. Okay, there we go.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Marry, Shag, Kill is a game where someone gives you 3 people and you have to choose which one you would marry, which one you would shag, the European word for sleep with, and which one you would kill, the European word for murder. So Cheri's going to give me 3 people and I have to assign each to a category.
All right, now I'm ready.
All right.
So we have Justin Bieber, Tom Cruise, and The Rock.
Oh my gosh. Tom Cruise now or Tom Cruise risky business?
I'll leave that up to your.
Okay. I didn't realize that's what Justin Bieber, like I didn't picture him like that. I thought he had like weird bleached hair going on. That's a good looking picture. I think I would, okay. I think I would,
look at how I spelled Mary.
That's funny. That's
I
awesome.
work in education, people.
Marry, Shag, Kill. All right. So I think that I don't know. I think it would be creepy if I said I would shag Justin Bieber because he's like 12. So
he's not 12 anymore.
Okay. How old is he?
Oh, he's in his 20s.
Okay. Well, my cutoff is like 29 because, you know, it's the bro code is half your age plus 7. So that would be 22. So yeah, 29. I didn't know if it had been a few months since I did the math, so I had to make sure it was still the same cutoff age. So I would probably say, well, I can't marry Justin Bieber. I would probably say marry The Rock just because he seems like a stable guy. Probably kill Tom Cruise and shag Justin Bieber.
Good choice. That's exactly what I would do.
Wow.
Oh, and look at Justin Bieber. I don't care what anybody says.
Adorable. I know.
Woof woof.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So mine for you are on this nice little piece of paper here. So you've got Johnny Depp, James Franco, and Andy Cohen.
Oh boy.
Marry, shag, or kill.
Oh. Dang it, that's hard.
It was hard to come up with them for you.
Okay, let me talk this one out. Now, you know, I love me some Johnny Depp. I think he's very sexy. I would love to have sex with him. But there's just enough going on with him and that ex-wife of his that I think he's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't really trust him. And I've heard some things about James Franco too. But Andy Cohen is gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So
I had to throw one in there for you.
I would shag Johnny Depp, marry Andy Cohen because he's got all that Bravo money, and I would have to kill James Franco, and there would be the end of that joke.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, that was my thought too with the Tom Cruise thing. There's just a lot of strings attached. How many spouses does that dude need to have?
Well, plus he's that creepy Scientologist, so.
Right.
Okay, that was Mary Shag Kill. I'd give that a.
Yeah.
I think we need to come up with uglier people.
It was more fun with your visual.
Well, and
so
it's more
made
fun too. Like when we played that Truth or Dare game with the people that were actually in the room, that's kind of more fun too.
Oh yeah, that does make it fun.
You know, or like if we did it with our friends, but then people that are not our friends wouldn't know who we were talking about.
Right.
So.
I was tempted to pick some local people, but then I thought, if depending on what you answer, that could make things weird later.
Yeah, it could make my husband not want to let me out of the house.
Right. He'd be putting coasters on.
Look what I wrote on our list of the stuff for today. Record.
Nice. And we are. Yes.
Hey, thanks
Small
for
wins.
the reminder. Okay, so I think that now we should go into when to give up your phone number and when not to.
Yes, I have a story to tell on that because I brought this up last week that we should talk about this week. And here's what happened.
Okay.
I was at the bar. Gentleman came up, needed help with first of all, he walked in as soon as he saw me. He said he saw my watch. He's like, "That is an awesome watch," and he was like 8 feet away, and it was basically a pretty normal watch. It wasn't that compared to my watch collection. This was a normal watch, so it didn't seem to warrant an 8 foot away exclamation about how cool my watch was. I felt like he was coming on to me pretty hardcore. Then it turns out that he wanted to put a song on the jukebox, and it just so happens I was wearing actually this same combination because, you know, I wear my Own Your Awkward stuff all the time. I've got the red jacket or the blue jacket. I go back and forth, but I had the blue jacket on. He was really struggling to put a song on the jukebox. So, and I have an account. So I just said, I'll just play it for you. Right. And he was asking me to help him. So I said, I'll play it.
Hang on. I want to know what the song was.
It was, I think it's Keith Urban, Blue Ain't Your Color.
Okay.
Anyway, so then he goes outside and he comes in and he says, he went outside to do something. Like while the song was coming, I said, "Dude, your song's coming on," and he's like, "Our song." I'm like, "Okay, dude." And he was a good enough looking guy, but not someone that I would like pull over for if I saw him driving down the road. You know, like sometimes you pull over and then you pretend like you're walking somewhere back their direction when they're jogging your way. Not one of those, but definitely cute enough that I'd go out on a date with him. Anyway, so when he was leaving, he asked for my number and I gave it to him. And I should have said, I feel like I gave it to him too soon because he was obviously drinking enough that he was having fun and being flirty. And I should have said, you know, meet me next time sober and I'll give you my number or whatever, you know. And so I felt like I gave it away a little too easily too soon that time. It was just a number. He never called. It's fine. I'm over it because I don't know if, you know, I have this rule. I call it the 3 o'clock rule. Someone should not be attractive to you at 3 a.m. that is not attractive at 3 p.m. Like if
that makes sense.
If they don't look like a valuable person, or like where you would have a connection and like they would be valuable. And when I say valuable, I mean valuable in terms of fitting into your life and really like they would have a connection with what if you don't see value in them in the middle of the day, like you want to go do your normal things that have nothing to do with attraction and all that kind of stuff in the afternoon, then you shouldn't be trying to hit on that type of person at 3 a.m.
Oh, what if it's 3 a.m. and you're drunk and you're horny?
Well, that's usually the people that make mistakes. Those turn into one-night stands and accidental pregnancies for people who are not sleeping with the same sex. But it's like those are those decisions where you're like, why did I make that decision? I wasn't thinking with the right brain, you know. So
Ed,
anyway,
yeah.
but I don't know. Do you think that's too soon to give your number up right away, or?
Oh, I don't think so. Because first of all, how do you know that you're ever going to see them again?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if they know where you work and they really want to go out with you, but if you tell them no, they're going to see it as a rejection. Like, how do you tell someone no?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think so. But
I was on the fence about it.
It would save yourself some, in some ways, just like waiting for someone to call. That kind of business is always like, causes a little bit of, if they don't call you, then it's like, what's wrong with me? Why didn't they call? Like,
right.
I don't know if you go through that, but when I was single, I used to.
Oh no, I definitely do. I've gotten better at it now, but it used to really bug me. I would always look at if something didn't work out as if there was something I needed to change and do and correct. And now I'm better. I have the head turning rule. I have a lot of rules for myself. My other rule is that I have to turn the guy's head. So, you know, I could drop my books in front of him. I could, you know, spill my coffee at the coffee shop to try to get his attention. But at some point, if he's not looking my way, then I need to move on. And so if I catch their attention, at least a glimpse enough that they are like, oh, that might be somebody I'm interested in, then that's cool. But if I'm having to fight and beg for it, then that's just, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And what I used to do is think, what do I need to do to be the kind of person that these people that I want to see are attracted to? And as much as we need to have those conversations for ourselves where we say, what do I need to do to be the kind of person I want to be, but not to get other people to accept us. I mean, there's a difference between self-improvement for fitting into what we want to be. Like on your profile, how it says you want to have people feel good after they see you, right? It's like, then you think, okay, well, what do I need to do to fit up to that value that I've decided for myself? But if I'm making those decisions to try to get attention from someone, then I'm always changing and I'm never true to myself. And on the flip side, I've learned to not look at, if, you know, I used to be like, oh my gosh, this guy's perfect. If he just would do X, Y, or Z, if he just knew how to text back, if he just, you know, knew how to brush his hair or whatever it is, you know, like you have these little things where you're like, oh, this guy'd be perfect if this and that. And I've learned to change my mindset to say, there's a lot of great things about this person. It's too bad that we're not in sync in all those ways, because I think that there could be a lot of value, but it's okay that we're not. And then just move on.
Well, and the other thing I think, and you kind of touched on this, is that like when people are dating, and I want to say especially women, but I don't know if that's true, but I think especially women will say, oh, I hope he likes me, you know, before, and no, you should be hoping that you like him.
Yeah.
You know, don't be worried about impressing him or him liking you. Go find out if he's the kind of person, or she is the kind of person that you really would value spending time with.
Yeah. And I think that we're so afraid of rejection and missing out and loneliness that we leave the acceptance into someone else's court. And that, unfortunately, that just means that we're basically lowering the bar and saying, well, we'll take whoever will have me, instead of saying, you know what, this is what I need for my happiness. This is what I deserve for a relationship. And that equates to friends, family, anybody. It doesn't even just have to be for dating, but that's where it's most prominent. And so when we say, you know what, this is what I require in order for you to be in my life, anybody who doesn't meet that bar, then, you know, that's great. But I'm not going to get all upset about it. I'm just, you know, it's perfectly fine to say that doesn't work for me. I don't have to give you a reason and say, I think too often we're like, we try to tell people what's wrong with them also. And instead just say, you know what, this doesn't work for me. I need things that you're not offering, and that's okay. It's not anything wrong with you. We're just two different puzzle pieces that don't fit together.
Right. And, you know, the other thing, you know, you got to remember, I was a single person for 49 years. So, you know, I obviously had some commitment issues, you know, but I was looking for that hit me right in the face fairy tale movie love story
Mhm.
kind of a relationship. And I came to find that having someone who is your friend and has your back, and of course you've got to be attracted to them, is just, but that's just much more important. Like I know my husband would die for me. Like if somebody came in with a gun, he would put himself between me and that bullet, you know.
Wow.
And I mean,
Yeah.
not that I want him to, but you know.
Right. But you know that, yeah, he's got your back.
Yeah. And that's just such a good feeling, knowing that there's always somebody there that's on your side. So anyway, now have you ever just like spontaneously, well, I bet you probably have, because knowing you, just gone up to somebody and just slipped them your number without even really having had a conversation with them?
I have given it away really quickly, yes. Usually it's more just like a, hey, I'd love to catch up sometime. And I give people my card. I'm just like, which is maybe a bit much. I should like write it out and be like, maybe that's part of the problem too. Because it's easy. It's already written on there and I just hand it to them.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
And it has my picture on it because, you know, everything that I do is promoting me personally. So that way, if they're drunk, they remember at least who they got the number from.
And if they don't remember, they'll go, oh, he's cute, I should call him. So
Exactly.
There we go. Now, see, I remember back in the day, there was a guy that worked at Emerald Queen Casino. And I remember, like, I would walk past him and he would wink at me. He was like a security guy. And so one day, well, it was just the first day that I saw him, he was winking at me. So I just went over and gave him my number.
Oh, nice. See?
But, you know, it turned out that the kind of guy that winks at you when he's on his job is the kind of guy that really only wants sex. And it's been, I don't know how many years ago that was. I've been married for almost 11. So it's about 15 years ago. And he still tries to hit on me every now and then in the DM. So, you know.
Yeah. You know, one thing I would like to bring up for next time, because I think it's a good conversation to have, but I think it would go too long with all the segments we've got, is I think that we should talk about how important is it when you see other people's friends on whether or not you think that that's somebody worth hanging out with.
When you see other people's friends, what do you mean?
I'm sorry. So when you're interested in someone, but then you see the people they're hanging out with, like should that or shouldn't that affect whether or not you choose to want to date them? And so, but next time. All right.
So let's go over, one of my Facebook friends has just private messaged me and asking about the contest last night. I can't tell who it is and I don't want to open it because of everything I've got going on. But first of all, pay attention, people. I'm doing a live show right now.
Yeah, you should all know that.
Yes, pay attention to me. No,
but the people we're saying it to already know.
They were asking about the contest last night.
Yeah, at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club.
So Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club has a big contest going on right now, and there's 5 preliminary heats of 10 comedians.
Cheri's on June 2nd.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've gone through the first 2. So we have 8 people that have moved on so far.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
So last night was crazy.
I missed it, but that's what I hear.
Yes, and it was the energy was so high. Everybody was just good enough that they could have gone on. It was really probably tough for the judges.
Yeah. That is hard with these contests where you know, there's a certain amount of luck based on who you happen to be on the same week of, and then a certain amount of how well you do that particular night, and then also a certain amount of objectivity based on whether or not you spoke to the judges or the crowd.
So Aaron Yankoski went on. I always can remember 3 and not 4. Jesse Warren.
Yes.
Quentin,
you said went on?
A woman that I don't know, and Quentin Jones. Okay. I'm sorry, I apologize for not knowing her name. So But in this contest, I have noticed that there are people that I have never seen before in my years of comedy. Never heard of them, never seen them in a show, never seen them anywhere. All of a sudden in this contest, bring a lot of people with them, and crowd response counts for a lot.
Yeah.
So that's a trick for this contest, is pack the house with your peeps. I will be up June 2nd. Let's just say that again.
And everybody here should be Cheri's peeps. So let's all go online now and buy our ticket for June 2nd.
So that's a double-edged sword, because I think Nate he's got a new club. He wants to fill it up. He wants you to bring people. I mean, and that's a great thing, to have a big audience and to be a draw, as we've talked about before.
Right. The tricky thing that we've seen, which is hard, is that as we know, when you're new in comedy, your friends come more to see you. And so having a lot of people come, if they're seeing you do a few of your first sets, doesn't necessarily mean you will have a lot of people come when it's
later. Right. And it doesn't mean that because all your friends are there hooting and hollering that you're the funniest either. So I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that, it's like, it's kind of up for grabs. And we had one of my friends got up and did a crazy impression of Prince, including cutting out the ass cheeks of his pants when he turned around.
That's something that Prince used to do?
Well, I think he's worn assless pants before.
Okay. That wouldn't surprise me.
I should probably look that up. But it was hilarious, and it just really, I mean, the whole room just went crazy. So you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah. And I would say, too, that part of comedy, like we've said, the business of comedy is bringing a crowd. So it is important to bring a crowd.
Sure.
And Cheri's hilarious. So get the crowd plus the funny, and then you get the money.
Right. All right. And there is big money attached with this. And you get to like go open for Nate on some of his road shows. So it's a big deal.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
I know. All right. So now we're moving on to the Real Housewives.
Okay. How are the Real Housewives? Have you watched? Is there something you've been watching, or what's going on in that world?
Well, in Real Housewives of New York, now we're going to get double team here in a minute, because maybe it was yesterday or maybe it's next week, but I think it might have been yesterday. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills also started.
Okay. Now actually, I just remembered in the moment. On our last episode, we left off where they were at a party and they were all getting along, but the previews from the week before made it look like there was going to be some tension and some fighting. So did that happen yet?
Yeah, it started happening because Sonia Morgan, my lovely friend behind me that we can't see right now, got too drunk. Now, Sonia Morgan, JP Morgan, considers that, even though she married into that family, considers that her family. And somebody at the dinner table said that Wells Fargo had lower interest rates.
Well, she probably also considers it her money.
And she went berserk. And then that's kind of how they ended it. So
were they saying it purposely to get under her skin, or were they saying
they were just having a conversation? And you know, Sonia's lovely. She's a lovely woman, normally very self-deprecating humor, very charming. But once she hits that drunk spot, she loses her mind.
Well, and that type of business, I imagine that interest rates, what banks offer, go back and forth depending on the type of loan. You know, sometimes people focus on home loans, sometimes focus on auto. So I'm sure there are times where either one has a better offering than the other in different categories, but that is funny.
I don't know nothing about that, but I know that's what starts the fight. So we shall see how it goes.
And if you're trying to get a loan right now, check out Wells Fargo.
That's who we have our home loan through. So, okay. So the Real Housewives have taglines.
Yes, which I just learned about.
Yeah, and I'm going to show the audience like an
Are you going to show them what you sent me?
I'm going to show an example. I don't think we need to watch the whole thing, but just to get an idea.
It's pretty short.
Yeah, so I'm going to screen share if I can find where it is.
Right there, right there. Push that one right there. That right there. Push
I'm just going to hit share and then I'm going to find the, oh, okay, we're done with that. So let's let those guys go away. I can't believe I spelled Mary like that. That is just...
Yeah, you know, it has 2 R's and an E. Merry.
I did it. Oh, I won't say I did it when I was at work, but I might have possibly done that while I was at work. So, Real Housewives taglines.
All right.
Is it that? Is it that? Is it that? Nope, it must be this. Okay.
Oh, did you share your sound? Because I'm not hearing sound.
Thank you.
But picture sound right here with their tagline. They actually say their tagline out loud, and we're going to hear that for you in just a moment. Which the funny thing is,
Price is hard for half as much, but now I'm coming for everything.
Just like New York City, Sonia Morgan never goes out of style.
nice.
All right, I messed that up.
You gotta let the universe know what you want.
No, we got the point. I think it's funny because I haven't done that before, and I said we need to test before we go live because I haven't shared sound. And Cheri's like, "Well, I've done it." Sorry.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay. So anyway, so Andy and I made our own taglines.
Yes, we did.
I did mine on TikTok so that I could have...
Oh my gosh, yours is probably all fancy. Well, I can do mine first if you want, because yours is probably like the grand finale.
No, not really, but...
Shall I share it?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I am about to share my housewives of wherever they are tagline. So here we go. Get ready. It's almost as sexy as they are. Wow, that's a sad look. Y'all ready? I'm Andy Vargo, and just like the city I live in, I know how to own my awkward.
Oh, that's good. I like it.
Thank you.
That was really good. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not prepared.
That's okay. I will distract the folks. Look over here. Don't pay attention to what she's pushing over there because I'm here to keep you focused on the entertainment of this show that we're going to do. Cheri loves my mustache, by the way. Do y'all see how curly it is? It's her favorite feature right now.
Oh no. It says we're having trouble playing this video right now.
Well, that is.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So say you're gonna have to
rewind it. Let me screen share it.
And here it comes.
There's just so much involved in all this, you know. We're sharing the sound. Okay. Okay. Can you see me?
Oh wow, you look very gorgeous. Oh,
No,
but I cannot hear you.
I know I can't hear me either. So it's TikTok.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
All right, if I had a Real Housewives tagline, it would be, I might be a little bit extra. In fact, I'm so extra, I don't have a G-spot. I've got an HIJK-LMNOP spot.
Woohoo!
All right, if I had a Real Housewives
I love that. And I love the glamour shots look.
I know. I thought I'd get all dramatic with it.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so... All right, so today I just want to introduce you to Luann.
Okay.
We're going to do this quickly because I feel like this is dragging on too. I keep trying to minimize this. It's like, you can't minimize this when you are on Zoom.
Right.
So Luann, I have a picture of her right here. I got a screen share again.
Are we still in New York?
We are still in New York.
Okay, Luann. And okay, gotcha. Go ahead.
Okay. So Luann is the one that we used to be married to a count. So they used to call her the Countess.
So she was in one of the first, when you showed me all 4 of her 5 of them on that one day, she was one of them.
She's one that's been around for a while. So she used to go by the Countess and she thinks she's very important. And she used to be a little bit kind of condescending to that to people that worked in like service stuff. She's gotten a lot better. One thing I can say about Luann, she's become a lot more self-aware and is really trying to be a better person. But
She was wearing one of those COVID dresses.
what's a COVID dress?
You got to keep the windows open for the airflow.
And Luann always wears a signature necklace.
Oh, okay.
Just one of those big, always big, gaudy necklaces.
Okay.
Okay. But the one thing I wanted to share, just to kind of give you an idea of why Luann, I think, is annoying.
And she was married to a count, like from some other country where they have counts. Like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But they're divorced and everything. And then she married somebody else and they're divorced. But there was a time when they went on a girls' trip. Like I told you, they go on girls' trips all the time.
Yeah.
And Luann and Ramona brought some guys home from the bar. And then the other housewives wake up and they look down the hall like they're sleeping naked, and they look, and a few feet away, there's some guy they don't even know laying there sleeping, and they were pissed.
That would piss me off. I mean, that's not
Right.
a good thing to do. And that's like etiquette 101 when you're with people where you got to watch out for people's safety.
Right,
Bringing
right.
strangers
So
home and just-
this is what has. So the next morning, these women got up. They found this and they were upset. And so I'm just going to play a little clip of what happened.
Okay. Here comes the clip. I've never watched any of this show, so this will be my first actual bit to watch, other than those taglines you showed me.
All right.
Heather Thompson is back.
Sonia, sit down. I can't be around this. I can't. I am going to take.
Unfortunately, the problem is on these clips that apparently they just move on to the next clip.
Oh, yeah, it's like one.
And so you think you have saved a particular clip and you
so
have
that
saved a different one. But this is like, well, let's just, this is current.
Oh my gosh, is this the show where that image with the women going like this and they always show like the cat? Is that from this show?
Wait a minute, going like, hang on, where are you?
There's the meme with the women at the table and they're like pointing and really mad. Like, I'll find it.
I don't know what you're talking about. A cat?
Or the mad woman at restaurant meme, whatever that.
I found it. I found the one I want. So I'm going to share. This show is a disaster today. Okay, I don't need to like share so many things. Are you ready to watch this?
Yep, hold on, here I am. Okay, there we go.
All right. You're going to share this.
That was painful to watch that first part though, I tell you.
All right. There's no sound.
No, it's not up.
Strange person sleeping in the
Not
room next
really.
to you? Well, you and I have very different ethics and values.
What are they on a manhunt? And so what if I had a man in my room? I'm a grown woman. I can decide to do what I want with myself.
You know what? Maybe I'm not as.
What are you freaking out about? Okay, don't be uncool. That's not the Heather I know. You're usually really cool.
Really? I don't, honestly, that's a real problem. You bring strangers back and you don't see them out, and now I'm the one that's not cool. They are strangers. I don't even know his name.
Listen, David.
Okay, what's the other guy's name? And what's his last name?
John. No, David.
Okay, so yeah.
Doesn't
you
matter.
don't even
It's whatever.
exchange.
Ted, I don't care.
Well, what the hell are you doing? It was Ramona.
Look, the guy probably drank too much and he fell asleep upstairs, okay?
But we
it's
don't
not a big
know.
deal.
Okay,
Come on.
whatever.
So be cool. Don't be all, like, uncool. Why?
So that has become a big saying on that show. Don't be like all uncool.
So is that the guy? I mean, there's a guy in the background. Is that another one of their friends or something that they brought home?
There's no guy in the background.
There was a guy back there, like at the counter with them. It was like
No, there was women. It was first thing in the morning. They all looked like shit.
Dude in a black shirt. He was cute. You got to go back.
Really?
Go back to the clip. There's a cute dude.
Okay, let me go look.
In the background, like ignoring them, basically.
Okay. Okay.
They always hire chefs and maids.
Oh, I forget.
That's the kind of vacation they go on.
I forget what pay grade of people we are looking at. See, these are not the vacations I go on. Mine are more like staycations.
No, but let's talk about our vacation while we're on it. Let's just screw the house.
But before we go, I got to share my screen here because this is what I'm talking about. Is this a
I know what you're
housewife-
going to show. Now all of a sudden it dawned on me, but show it.
with the cat?
Yes,
that's a
that's
housewife.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that's getting ready to start up. So yes.
Okay. I always thought this was like a picture that someone took of someone being really freaked out at a restaurant or something, and someone
The cat wasn't really on the show. They have put these two women on the left.
I figured the cat was photoshopped in.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's from this show.
So that's Housewife. Now I know that this makes it look really bad that they're always just like bitching at each other and stuff, but it's really cool. It's a really good show. It's really like riveting.
Oh my God, I could not. Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about Vegas.
This is a lot. Okay, Vegas. I'm excited for Vegas because we're going on a week from tomorrow.
Yes. So I've kind of made some little, I like to make a general outline of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 things a day that I kind of want to hit.
Yeah. I have lots of questions for you before we travel.
Oh, let's do that right now.
Well, I've never traveled with hairspray. Can you take hairspray? I've never done my do. Like now that I'm doing my hair different.
Well, you can't carry it on, but you can.
Can you pack it?
You can put it in your suitcase.
So I can put it in my suitcase. So I can
you have to put it in the baggage.
Okay, and then check it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that. And then hotels have hair dryers, right? I've only in the last couple of weeks started using a hair dryer. Normally I go up. This is not up. Did you see that? I'm surprised you didn't comment. I have like the perfect little curl going on today.
I didn't like it today. That's why I didn't say anything. You should know that about me by now.
I guess so. Anyway, today I just did it like this, and then I make a hold of the hairspray. But see, like it looks like it's not done, but it's actually done. Look at that. I slept on it with this hairspray the other day, and when I woke up, I didn't even have to do my hair. I was like, damn, that stuff works.
That's when I go to my hairdresser and he does my hair the next day, my hair still looks fabulous.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I have not had bed hair like I used to have since I started using these new products. But
well, that's good. You learn.
Yeah, it's called Mane Tame. I get it from the Barber's Lounge where I get my hair done now.
There you go.
For all you people who are looking for something fun. Anyway. Do the dry look, but I was like, well, how do I take my products? That was a question. And then another question, which I don't know if you know or if we need to do some research, but I don't know what we need to consider for COVID. Like, do I need to take my vaccination card and keep it in my pocket? Do I need to do special things to get on the plane, or I don't know.
To get on the plane, you have to wear a mask and everything.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up. I should probably bring my COVID card with me. But I think Vegas is pretty much like if you're in I don't know.
Yeah.
Just bring mask.
It's hard because I mean, I
may
can
not
take
have
out
to
some
wear
of my business cards. I don't need to keep my business credit cards and stuff in my pocket, but it's like when you go and you've got your credit cards, your debit card, I won't need my library card. But I got my COVID card, my gay card, there's a lot,
You have a gay card?
I got to get it punched.
Okay, so those were your questions. Those were easy questions.
Well, also, we're going to be sharing a suite. So if you wake up and there's a man in the suite, I mean, are you going to be freaked out?
Well, depends on if I met him before I went to sleep or not.
I wouldn't do that to you. But that is just like a general thing. You don't bring a stranger into. That's not
when you're sharing space with other people. Yeah.
It's granted. If you
we do have 2.
Place, it doesn't matter.
We have 2 bathrooms in there, I think.
Nice.
One can be the pooping bathroom.
Okay, that's good to plan that ahead.
Yeah. So I'm excited, and we're going to go to. I think we may have talked about this last week. I want to go to the Selfie Museum.
Yes, the Selfie Museum.
I want to go. I'm still trying to decide for the actual birthday where we're going to go. And since we probably need to make a reservation, I probably need to think about that because it's going to be a holiday weekend and a Saturday.
Yeah.
So
and that's Saturday. And then Sunday is the night we're doing a little bit of comedy, right?
We are, yeah.
So friends in Vegas, we're going to be doing an open mic down there on Sunday night. So hit us
They
up
are.
and come see us.
I got the feature spot, so
Mhm.
yeah, I get to make a little money while I'm down there. It'll be at Noreen's Lounge.
That's exciting.
That bartender there always gives me birthday cake vodka. It's really good. So
Yeah, I remember like a couple years ago when you were talking about the first time you had seen him and the next time you went back and he remembered you.
he
And had your
remembered
birthday
me. I
cake.
like that,
Because
but
we
I
always
drink.
asked for the whipped vodka and he
Mhm.
remembered, but he had that instead.
I drink something weird enough that I think that people remember it. So that's great.
Which, when we did Cheri's Unmentionables, which is Cheri's show that she does, one of the shows she produces, when we did that in the greenhouse, at Joe Greenhour's greenhouse, there was a point where I ran out of regular vodka to put in the cranberry, so I had to use the whipped vodka with cranberry, and it tasted like cotton candy. It was actually pretty good.
I like it a lot.
Just saying.
I think that when I drink the vanilla vodka, if they don't have whipped cream and I have to drink vanilla, it has a slight medicinal taste that I don't really enjoy.
Yeah, I've never had I'm not a big vanilla fan. I like plain stuff, but not necessarily vanilla.
Well, I'm going out to Nate's Club tonight. Got a free ticket, so I took a little nappy nap, so I'm going to do that. I don't want to end. I want to kind of end this fairly soon, so I think we're going to have to drop dream interpretation because that's going to take a while to talk about dreams.
Next time we
We'll
can
do
talk
that next
about
time.
the dating with friends and dream interpretations. And what else was on our list? I did not write it down. I should have.
For next week?
No, for this week. Is there anything else we need to cover before?
I think that's it because it's like I just wanted to introduce Luann.
So next week will be the day before we go to Vegas. We might be having a special packing episode. Maybe we'll,
Oh, you know what happens to me every time? TSA goes through my luggage every time. I always open it up and but this time I have like a suitcase now that has two sides.
Oh, okay.
So I got one of those on each side of it. I've only usually gotten it on one because you can open it up two ways.
With little papers.
But I think it's been, okay, can I say this? Since I started bringing my vibrator with me, I think they see it and they think it's something.
I almost joked that you have that.
So don't worry, I won't bring it this time.
Well, I was playing a game. I was playing a game with some family the other day, adult family, I should say. And we were playing this game where there's a letter and you have categories and you have to come up with something for all these categories. And the letter was D. So like boy's name, David, color. I don't have a color, but that's power equipment. And I said dildo.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell a story. That reminds me of a story, and then we'll go. I think we should go today. So the very first time I brought Dave to like a family holiday, we were playing a game, and I forget the name of it, but a catchphrase or outburst, or I don't know, some kind of game where you have to like give clues or whatever. And my brother, we're on teams, and my brother and sister were giving each other clues. And one of them says, tongue up the butt, and the other one goes, toss salad. And Dave and I are like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, when did that become called that? Like,
is that actually what it's called?
Yeah, you toss someone's salad and tongue up the butt. Yeah, no, so it was like, we used to call that like going around the world back in the day. That's what that was called. But it was funny because we're like giving clues like croutons.
I never knew that.
Tongue up, and then I'm just like, welcome to my family, Dave. Just
right. I never even knew that was a thing people did till after I got divorced. So when I was 41 or 41, but I'm late to a few things.
That's interesting. I'm a late bloomer in other ways myself. I was an early bloomer, and now I'm you know what? I saw something on Facebook today. It was like one of my memories from 2 years ago, and it said, I went to the casino, and I just got here, and already 2 people have hit on me, and I realized, like, that doesn't happen to me anymore. I've gotten officially old, I think. I'm invisible now.
You are just saying that, but you forget that there was a guy hardcore hitting on you several times every time you first started going to Nate's.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
All right. Okay.
It's been an awesome episode. This is fun. I can't wait for next week. We're going to be packing for Vegas.
Yeah, so that should carry us through. We'll talk about dreams next week, packing for Vegas, and what we ended up. Oh, let me just ask this question in case anybody's still watching that goes to Vegas. I'm thinking about going to Ellis Island for my birthday. Now, I know it's not a glamorous place.
Wait,
but
that's in New York.
It's the name of a casino there.
Oh, okay.
But they have like cheap food and they have karaoke.
Ooh, karaoke.
And I'm not really a fancy girl anyway. I was going to go fancy, but I just want to have fun. I just want to. I don't mind like a dive bar or a.
Yeah, and sometimes there's value in we think we need to make a big deal out of things, and actually we have less fun than if we just be ourselves and go hang out with some cool people, and we're like, wow, that was the most awesome time, and I only spent $30 instead of $300.
Well, yeah. And
probably more than 30, but
we've gone to karaoke together before, and it's always fun.
It is.
It's fun. We've only done it once though, but we need to do it.
I can't believe that because we the first time we did it, it was right before shutdown. I feel like by the time we started.
I know. I recorded you. I did that rude thing that friends do sometimes.
Yeah.
Record your drunken karaoke. So, all right. We'll see everybody next Thursday. In the meantime, you can find me on CheriHardman.com.
And you can.
Oh wait, can I let me do a quick commercial and then I'll shut up and you can do your. This coming Tuesday, I have Carol Montgomery will be on Heavy Petty. Carol Montgomery is the producer of Funny Women of a Certain Age. You should watch it on Showtime. She's taken that show around. I appreciate that because it's giving women like my age a voice and just proving that older women are hilarious. So I'm excited to have her.
And you didn't just forget the age. It's called Funny Women of a Certain Age.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm so excited to see you're getting some big stars coming on your show, which is just so fun. So watch that show. And then you can find me at awkwardcareer.com or all over social media with the handle @awkwardcareer.
If you have any show ideas or any ideas of where people can go do karaoke in Vegas, you can email us at Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy @gmail.com. All right, Andy, I will talk to you later. Have a great day.
You too, Cheri. Bye-bye.
Bye.